Hey guys, what's up? I am back with a brand new video and it's time to do a speed test comparison between the Oppo F19 Pro versus the Poco X3. And guys, and the Poco X3 has a Snapdragon 732G chipset with the 6GB of RAM, while the Oppo F19 Pro has a MediaTek Helio P95 processor with 8GB of RAM. On the back, we have quad cameras on both phones. We have a 64 megapixel main camera on the Poco X3 as compared to 48 megapixel main camera on the Oppo F19 Pro. So I'm really excited to see that how much a difference between these two devices when it comes to apps opening speed as well as in the boot up test. So without any wasting time, let's get right into it. Now let's start off with the boot up test between these two devices. Like always, here we go. And logo is here just a tiny bit more faster on the Oppo F19 Pro, followed by the Poco X3. And Oppo F19 Pro is running on Android 11 with the Color OS version 11.1 as compared to Android 10 with MIUI version 12. And you can see guys, and the Poco X3 it is way faster phone when it comes to booting up, be it the Oppo F19 Pro when it comes to booting up, about 1 or 2 second difference between these two devices. And as you can see that, and both phones has a very different display. We have a Full HD Super AMOLED display with a 60Hz refresh rate display on the Oppo F19 Pro as compared to Full HD IPS LCD display. But we have 120Hz refresh rate display on the Poco X3, which makes everything more smoother, than the Oppo F19 Pro 60Hz refresh rate display. And also both phones also has a punch hole which is on the center on the Poco X3 as compared to on the left hand side on the F19 Pro. So guys, everything's closed up in the background, no app is running in the background, and also we have same Wi-Fi network on both phones. Now let's see phone dialer, and that is exactly the same on both phones, no difference there. Next on the list is the settings, that is definitely more faster on the F19 Pro. Now let's see YouTube on both phones launching at the same time, and that is exactly the same, no difference there. Now let's see the scrolling, and that is feels more smoother on the Poco X3 because of the 120Hz refresh rate display. Now let's check out some games application, and now let's see that how much a difference between MediaTek Helio P95 versus the Snapdragon 732G inside the Poco X3. So now let's see the Candy Crush Saga, and that is faster on the Poco X3 definitely, as you can see, followed by the Oppo F19 Pro, about 1 second difference there. So now let's see Subway Surfer, and that is more faster on the Poco X3, followed by the Oppo F19 Pro, again 1 or 2 second difference. Now let's see Spotify, and that is exactly the same on both phones, and you can see no difference there. Now let's see the pinout, that is definitely little bit more faster on the Poco X3, followed by the Oppo F19 Pro, not a huge difference. Now let's see Temper and 2 on both phones, last game application we have in this speed test, and that is definitely just a tiny bit more faster on the Poco X3, followed by the Oppo F19 Pro, and you can see Poco X3 is completely done. Now the F19 Pro is also done, about 1 second difference there. Now let's opening up the Twitter, and exactly the same Zedge, and that is definitely more faster on the F19 Pro, followed by the Poco X3. Now let's see the scrolling, and that is feels more smoother on the Poco X3 because of the 120Hz refresh rate displays. So last I'm launching the cameras on both phones, default camera app. Now let's see that which one is going to be the fastest one, and that is more faster on the Poco X3, just a tiny bit more fast there. Okay guys, now let's see the internet browser speed. I am using default Google Chrome on both phones. Now let's see wikipedia.org, and that is just a tiny bit more faster on the Oppo F19 Pro, followed by the Poco X3. So now let's see the scrolling, and that is again feels more smoother on the Poco X3 because of the 120Hz refresh rate display. Next on the list is the apple.com, and that is more faster on the Oppo F19 Pro, followed by the Poco X3. So now let's see the scrolling, and again more smoother on the Poco X3. Now let's see the RAM management on both phones, and we have 8GB of RAM on the F19 Pro as compared to 6GB of RAM on the Poco X3. Phone dialer, that is refresh. Let's see settings, no refresh. YouTube and refresh on both phones. Let's see Candy Crush Saga, refresh on the F19 Pro. Subway Surfer, no refresh. Let's see Spotify, no refresh. And now let's see Pinout, that is refresh. Let's see Temper Run 2, only refresh on the Poco X3. Opening up the router, that is not refresh. Zedge, refresh. Last we're back to the internet browser, and that is also not refresh on both phones. And guys, what I have to say regarding the app's opening speed is definitely more faster on the Poco X3 in system-based application as well as in game app turning time. In terms of the RAM management wise, I would say that both phones perform exactly the same. Really bad RAM management on both phones. I hope the RAM management will fix with some software updates on both these two devices. So that's about it, and thanks so much for watching this speed test comparison between the Oppo F19 Pro versus the Poco X3. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel for daily tech videos, and I will catch you in my next video. Peace out.